Many Transformers throughout the franchise are known for their special abilities. From Trailbreaker's force field,
must be getting old, Ironhide. What you need is a force field.
To Skywarp's ability to teleport,
Teleportation complete, Megatron.
these abilities can tip the balance in the never-ending battles between the Autobots and Decepticons. The Autobot spy, Mirage, can create the illusion that he is invisible.
Try this one, Spike. Now you see me? No, you don't.
Because of Mirage's past, his function as a spy has made many of his fellow Autobots wonder, can he be trusted?
I'm going back for reinforcements.
See you around.
Oh, no, you won't.
I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your continued support. Consider becoming one, or purchase some merch on my Spring store today. The original Diaclone Lee J F1 JS11 toy was based on the real-life Formula One race car driven by Jacques Lafitte. While the toy used many of the same sponsorship logos, such as the petroleum company Elf, the French cigarette company Giton was changed to Citon for the toy's release. Hasbro imported the figure unchanged to be part of the Transformers toy line in 1984 and was given the name Mirage. In his profile, as written by Bob Budiansky, Mirage is an effective fighter and spy who would rather spend his time hunting turbo foxes with his wealthy friends. His Electro Disruptor can create illusions that can alter his appearance or make it seem like he isn't there for 6 minutes. However, because he is unsure of the Autobot cause and his place as a freedom fighter, his bio states he cannot be fully trusted. First appearing in the original G1 Marvel Comics, Mirage was one of the many Autobots aboard the Ark when it crash-landed on Earth 4 million years ago. Reawakening in the then-present day of 1984, Mirage suggested that the Autobots simply take the energy resources they needed, since he was eager to return home to Cybertron. When his fellow Autobots disagreed, Mirage pondered if he was on the wrong side. During a battle against the Decepticons, a sneak attack from Ravage overwhelmed Mirage. Instead of fighting back, Mirage attempted to reason with the savage Decepticon. Fortunately, Brawn was able to save his Autobot friend. When the Decepticons attacked the Ark, Mirage was able to use his Electro Disruptor to trick Laserbeak and Buzzsaw into believing he was someplace else. Seeing through the ruse, Ravage pounced on Mirage and refused to listen to the Autobot's request of reason as he chewed off Mirage's arm. Realizing how crazy the Decepticons could be, Mirage blasted Ravage as he came to terms with his allegiance and rejoined his fellow Autobots in battle. Believing they had won the fight, the Autobots were blasted by Shockwave, who hung the Autobots' bodies from the ceiling of the Ark. Rescued by Ratchet with the rest of his teammates, Mirage was promoted to being a background character for most of the comics run. Even the UK exclusive stories saw very little of this deceptive Autobot, with a few notable exceptions that even gave Mirage a bit of a temper and saw his illusion powers being temporarily amplified to trick the Decepticons. Ultimately, Mirage was one of the many victims killed by an underbase-powered Starscream. However, how Mirage appeared throughout the franchise was probably inspired mostly from how he was portrayed in the G1 cartoon.
Time for me to disappear.
Voiced by Frank Welker, Mirage was not quiet about his desire to return home.
Maybe we should repair our ship and go back to Cybertron. Forget about the Decepticons.
We can't do that, Mirage. If Megatron succeeds here, he'll be impossible to beat on Cybertron.
His use of his Electro Disruptor, though different than his comic book counterpart, and to make him stand out from the hologram-creating Autobot tracker Hound, gave Mirage temporary invisibility as he'd sneak behind enemy lines.
Prime the rifle!
Using this power frequently, Mirage could learn what the Decepticons were doing without being spotted.
Seems like you've run out of trusty friends, Megatron.
Despite his homesickness, Mirage was also a capable fighter, and his shoulder-mounted missile packed quite a punch.
Gotcha!
In the climax of the More Than Meets the Eye pilot, Mirage snuck aboard the Decepticon battlecruiser as it launched for Cybertron, and briefly made it seem he was still present among his fellow Autobots. His disappearing act was even invisible to Soundwave scanners.
Autobot invaded. Autobot invaded.
He heroically blasted the ship's controls, causing it to spiral out of control.
No! You can't let us pass, Soundwave! Do something! Do something!
Mirage then bailed out as the Decepticon ship crashed into the ocean, which later became the Decepticon headquarters on Earth.
Mirage! You did it! You stopped the Decepticons!
We knew you were anxious to get back to Cybertron, but at least you could have waited for us.
Sorry, Prime. The ship was full.
When the Autobots needed to disguise themselves as the Stunticons in the episode Masquerade, Mirage was disguised as Dragstrip, since they shared a similar vehicle mode. Not to blow their cover, they even used Windcharger's magnet beams to hold themselves together, while Mirage used his Electro Disruptor to put on a phony Menasor face. Though the Autobots were quickly outmatched by the real Menasor,
No need for the disguises anymore.
the rest of the Autobots arrived in time for the Decepticons to retreat. Mirage's loyalty to the Autobot cause came into question in the episode Traitor, as the paranoid Autobot Cliffjumper accused Mirage of withholding information.
I'd have picked up a reading on them for sure.
Maybe you did, but decided to keep it quiet.
This was in spite of their failed attempt at retrieving the stolen Electro cells from the Decepticons. However, Mirage used the Decepticon insignia he had ripped off his previous encounter with Skywarp to trick the Insecticons into turning on the Decepticons.
I will squash them like the bugs they are! Decepticons!
Despite Mirage's efforts, Bombshell ultimately planted a Cerebro shell on the Autobot spy, ordering Mirage to lead the other Autobots into a trap. Cliffjumper would get his revenge, knocking out Mirage with a throw. Seeing that his slave had outlived his usefulness, Bombshell then decided to terminate his slave before being blasted away by Ratchet.
I can't believe any Autobot would turn against his own kind willingly.
The Autobot medic soon discovered the Cerebro shell planted on Mirage, and the rest of the Autobots realized that he was never a traitor to begin with.
I never wanted to do anything against my fellow Autobots. It was because...
We know, all of us.
Although the Electro cells were destroyed by Megatron, Ratchet repaired Mirage back at headquarters, and Cliffjumper gave one of the strangest apologies ever.
I think I have a hole in my head that needs repairing too.
You what?
In Transformers the movie, a now deleted scene would have seen the last appearance of Mirage during the Battle of Autobot City. The storyboards reveal that Mirage would have been seen blasting and killing Bombshell before the drawbridge he's in is blasted by Megatron's fusion cannon. In Generation 2, Mirage's G1 toy was planned to be re-released in extreme 90s colors with alligator labels, of which a mock-up was even created. However, it was ultimately cancelled. Instead, Mirage saw a new figure in 1995 as part of G2's subline GoBots. In 1997, he also received an update in the short-lived Machine Wars toy line. Most likely revived thanks to Grimlock's use of Nucleon, Mirage briefly appeared in the Generation 2 comics, where he was quickly killed off by the Decepticon forces. In the 21st century, Hasbro began to apply the name Mirage on new characters to keep up the name trademark. Some of them would hold on to the legacy of him being a traitor, and several even reused his classic alt mode as an F1 racer. This included a Viacon General in the Beast Machines toy line. Though Mirage did not appear in the Beast Machines cartoon, this unintelligent trickster had his own troop of Viacon drones in the 3H BotCon comics. Mirage's G2 toy was redecoed in Japan as a new character, Counter Arrow, for their series, Car Robots. Hasbro imported the series and toy line in 2001 as Robots in Disguise and renamed the character Mirage. As seen in the series, Mirage was part of the Autobot team, the Spy Changers, and was voiced by Wally Wingert.
I'm not a figment of your imagination. Mirage, transform!
On a mission to stop the Predacons from stealing a ruby, the Spy Changers position Mirage on a rooftop to utilize his excellent marksmanship. However, Mirage realized that if he missed, he could destroy a chemical plant. After being reprimanded by his teammates, Mirage chose to quit the team.
If your idea of teamwork is second-guessing everything I do, then I guess I can't work with you guys anymore. What do you say? So long.
While their team leader, Hotshot, did not care for his insubordination,
He disobeyed a direct order. There's no room on the team for someone like that.
Ironhide tried to talk some sense into his friend.
You can't talk about us like that!
Mirage then realized he was being bugged by the Predacons, and tried tricking them into thinking he was leaving the Autobots. Believing they could lead the Spy Changers into a trap, Skybite had Mirage bring his former teammates into range of a new weapon the Predacons built. However, Mirage used hand signals to warn his friends of the danger, and the Spy Changers were able to stop the Predacon plot.
Because he was only pretending to be a traitor to the Spy Changers, you fool!
Mirage then let his team know he was being bugged and made amends with Ironhide.
I can't hit you. You're my friend.
At the tail end of the Robots in Disguise toy line, Mirage's Beast Machines figure was redecoed as an upgraded version of the Spy Changer with the name Mirage GT. This deco was reused for a Minicon Mirage in Transformers Armada that was part of the Minicon race team along with Dirt Boss and Downshift. The three of them could combine to form the Sky Boom Shield, which is how the team was mostly used in the Armada anime. However, in the Dreamwave Armada comic, this cowardly Minicon would use his powers of invisibility to save his fellow Minicons, and even helped rescue the Autobots' human ally, Rad. The name of Mirage would be haphazardly used as the upgraded form of the Decepticon Tidal Wave in Transformers Energon.
Mirage, say catch me if you can! Transform!
In this new upgraded form, Mirage was very much a Megatron fanboy at an almost uncomfortable level, as the Decepticon leader did not reciprocate. In Japan, however, Tidal Wave was named Shockwave, and his upgraded form was called Shock Fleet. The details for that will be a discussion for another day.
And I've been so loyal. How could Galvatron not know how I feel about him?
During development for the third live-action Transformers film, an early design for a new Autobot that transformed into a European sports car took inspiration from Mirage for Dark of the Moon. As elements of Mirage were removed from the design and drafts of the film, the character was given an alternate mode of a Ferrari 458 Italia. However, an interesting trademark issue came to the surface, as Mattel, who owned exclusive rights to produce Ferrari toys at the time, in addition to Ferrari themselves not wanting a character to be called by a name trademarked by Hasbro. As such, this sneaky warrior Autobot was given the name Dino after Enzo Ferrari's son.
Dino, report to bay 23.
And sported an Italian accent provided by Francesco Quinn.
He's in a bad mood. He's not up to anybody today.
While he valiantly battled the Decepticons alongside his fellow Autobots, Dino was slated to die during the Battle of Chicago, but a further stipulation from Ferrari changed this to the Autobot Q meeting his end by the Decepticons instead. While he did not appear in Age of Extinction, it is possible he was killed by Cemetery Wind. His appearance in the tie-in comic books and video games still used the name Mirage for the character, and he even used a cloaking ability similar to his G1 counterpart. The first toys of the movie character were red redecos of Revenge of the Fallen Sideways to skirt the issue of his vehicle mode, and also initially used the name Mirage, but soon would adopt the name Dino. Further cementing him as a separate character from Mirage, a new Studio Series figure was released in 2021, though his alt mode had to make alterations as they still could not secure rights of him being a Ferrari. Despite these new versions of Mirage, his G1 self was not forgotten about, as he received numerous toys over the years, many of which still sported his F1 race car alt mode. Some were even in translucent plastic to reenact his invisibility power, and his alternators figure even gave him a street-legal vehicle mode of a Ford GT. Mirage also made appearances in comic books as well. In the Dreamwave comics, Optimus Prime sent Prowl and a small team on an investigation mission after a battle with Shockwave, who claimed the war was over back on Cybertron. When Ultra Magnus arrived as co-leader alongside Shockwave, Mirage convinced Prowl to surrender. Viewed by everyone as a traitor, Mirage was just eager to return back home. Once the Autobots learned about Shockwave's true intentions, they fought back and Mirage saved Cliffjumper using his powers of invisibility. After Cybertron was liberated from Shockwave's control, Mirage voiced his displeasure about returning to Earth, but Trailbreaker noted that Mirage's wealth was probably sold off by Shockwave. Prowl then decided that the protection of their second home was just as important as their first. In the IDW comics, Mirage joined Optimus Prime's crew on Earth to help stop the Decepticons. Being given false information, Mirage led the Autobots into an ambush by the Decepticons. The Autobots were defeated and forced through a space bridge back to Cybertron, while the Decepticons attacked New York City. With everyone believing Mirage was a traitor, Ironhide proceeded to beat down Mirage and removed his Autobot badge. After learning that it was really a mentally wounded Sunstreaker who had betrayed them, Ironhide attempted to apologize to Mirage, who refused to forgive him. While it was an uneasy relationship, Mirage continued his fight against the Decepticons until the war's end, when he joined the Lost Light crew. From there, he became a bartender of his own cocktail bar, the Visages, much to Swerve's displeasure. However, visions the spy has had over the years, including a dream that he was at one time a Decepticon, brought Mirage back to Cybertron accompanied by the Protectobots to stop the Constructicons and Prowl in their combined form of Devastator. Afterward, Ironhide, Mirage, and Sunstreaker made amends before Prowl used the Enigma of Combination to merge the 4 Autobots with Optimus Prime to become Optimus Maximus. After battling Devastator, Prowl was arrested, and Mirage would return to the Lost Light along with the Protectobots. Unfortunately, Getaway would take control of the ship, and Mirage would ultimately be killed by the zealous Starsaber. Ignoring the events of the G2 and UK comics, the Regeneration 1 comics also had Mirage battle alongside his fellow Autobots with a bit of a mean streak, much like his attitude in the UK. As part of the War for Cybertron trilogy's toy line, Mirage received a new figure of his Cybertronian mode as part of the Siege line in 2019. Appearing in the War for Cybertron's animated series on Netflix and voiced by Sean Hawkins.
Leave it to me! There's a reason I'm doing this mission. Maybe this is it.
Mirage used his illusion powers to create clones of himself as he battled the Decepticons. He was even able to create the illusion that he was a Decepticon, but their brutality quickly blew his cover. It was because of this that Mirage found it difficult to trust Impactor, who chose to help Ratchet and the Autobots to save Cybertron. Mirage was present throughout the series, even using his invisibility and illusion powers to help his fellow Autobots retrieve the Allspark on Earth. His Decepticon disguise even inspired a Walmart-exclusive redeco of his Siege figure that led to some fans further questioning his loyalties. Sold in an Amazon-exclusive Kingdom 2-pack in 2021 with the Maximal Grimlock, Mirage's Siege figure was retooled into his Earth mode, with his sponsorship label changing Elf for Orc. This figure was also recolored into his previously cancelled G2 Watermelon Gator deco and was released as part of the Walmart-exclusive Toxitron collection. Mirage officially made his big screen debut in Transformers Rise of the Beast in 2023 and was voiced by Pete Davidson.
Relax. Mirage, remember?
Mirage's robot mode bore similarities to his G1 counterpart, and his illusionary powers helped him escape from the NYPD and in battling against the Terracons. However, his original persona of a homesick rich boy was reimagined as a smart-mouthed rebel.
Way to be incognito.
Oh, come on, Prime. Smile a little bit. It won't hurt. Let me see that underbite.
Although his homesickness remained, his alternate mode of a Porsche 911, while notably street legal in comparison to a Formula 1 race car, had some fans question why this vehicle was chosen instead of the cool cat Autobot Jazz.
Hey man, I don't want to hurt you, but you get me steamed.
However, he quickly befriended Noah Diaz after Noah tried stealing him. To save his friend while battling the Terracons leader Scourge, Mirage transformed his badly damaged body into an exosuit as the two fought together to save the Earth. While Mirage's distaste for war and his desire to return back home might make the Autobots question his loyalty, Mirage usually comes through. His combat skills and illusionary powers are invaluable to the Autobot cause.
I'll scout on ahead. Follow me.
Lucky my sensors can track old Mr. Invisible, or it'd be a tough act to follow.
Despite his bio stating that he cannot be trusted, Mirage has always proven that when the chips are down, this Autobot will be there when his friends need him the most.
Where's Mirage?
Sorry, Chief. I was just getting ready.
But what do you think? Can Mirage be trusted? Or is he truly a traitor to the Autobot cause? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I've got many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
Maybe I can help. That is, if I'm really a part of that jigsaw puzzle of a Reptilicon.
We've got him now! Or should we say, we've got you! This alligator is big and heavy!
From the looks of it, I'd say a little of both.